This is Joe. Joe is a blogger. He writes about, say, dinosaurs or skateboarding or finance. Joe has great ideas, so he has a ton of readers, 10,000 of them. In addition to just talking his face off, though, he'd like to hear from his audience. He wants to be responsive to the questions that he knows they have, and he'd like to tailor some of his content to their specific interests. So he invites them to email him, tweet to him, or write on his wall. What he gets, though, is a torrent of individual, often repetitive messages coming at him from every side, so he tries to respond to as many as he can. Soon, though, he's spending a big chunk of the day answering and re-answering questions, and even then he's leaving most untouched. He eventually gets overwhelmed and has to close the floodgates, shutting himself off again from his audience. Then Joe finds CrowdHall. CrowdHall allows Joe to engage with his audience in a direct and personal, yet public two-way conversation. So here's how it works. Joe invites his followers, friends, and readers within his existing networks to ask him questions or to respond to topics he posts. In addition to asking, though, they also see the existing questions or comments and vote up and support the ones they care about the most. This creates an orderly, real-time, prioritized list of top questions and comments invested in by large numbers of people waiting for Joe to respond. So now Joe has a real-time list of what's on his audience's mind. Then when Joe responds to the top item on his list, he's engaging with an individual question from a real member of his audience, but he's also reaching out to everyone else that's invested in the conversation, because that response goes to all the people who supported the question and is visible to all Joe's followers on CrowdHall. So with CrowdHall, Joe gives his audience a voice that he can efficiently respond to. Everybody has buy-in. So now instead of just readers, he gets people who are really engaged. And now instead of just collecting followers, he's building relationships. And Joe the Dino Blogger is not the only one that will find value in CrowdHall. Joe will be part of a huge network of authors, politicians, hobbyists, rock stars, and anyone else who finally wants to use social media to make a real connection with their audience.